Thanks, Ted. I don't know if it's tougher to follow Chloe or Ted Wells, but I have my work cut out for me. It's so great to be here today. Thanks for that warm introduction. Thanks for Bro Sis, the board, the leadership for inviting me today to be part of this wonderful celebration. It's a special organization, as we've already heard, and I want to share some reflections about pathways that young people face in our city and things that can make a difference in their lives. But before I get there, I need to thank somebody else who knows something about young people's aspirations and pathways. It's a very special person whom I have to thank, and that is my wife, Susan Haskell, the Deputy Commissioner of Youth for the City of New York. Susan's worked her whole life on young people's dreams and the dreams of our two daughters. And she's happy to be here today, as we all are. In this season of benefit dinners, commencements, graduations, we all think about the pathways for young people, the promise, the opportunity, and the future. We think about how they strive, work hard, fall down, get up, and achieve great things. As you've heard from Ted, both because I was once a soccer player, I am particularly practiced at falling down and getting up in various ways. Sometimes you get knocked down, but the important thing is to get up. But we also know that young people, no matter what their talents are, no matter what their resilience is, no matter how strong that motor is inside of them, that they can't do it alone, that they need people to help them, that they need adults to help them, that they need each other. They need to come around each other and help each other. And that's where Bro Sis comes in. Bro Sis supports young people through the difficult years. And so as I thought about coming before you today to talk a little bit about their work, I thought about my own teenage years and the things that helped me get through from ambling along in the Bronx, New York, to some of the adventures that Ted described. I'm joined here today by about a half dozen, maybe 7 of my high school buddies, and perhaps afterward they can tell some truths about what happened 40 years ago in the Bronx. One of them, Ross Jaime, has been a distinguished member of the board of Bro Sis for almost 10 years, or maybe over 10 years. Although we were in high school together, I think he's about 10 or 15 years older than me. I was precocious. You'll hear a little bit more about Ross in a moment, but let's leave it there for now. So as I thought about those high school days, I went back and I thought about all the ways in which young people have certain talents and abilities, but they also have this fear about who they are, what they're doing, what the future holds. I thought about it through a couple of different perspectives, and it drove me back to a particular class one day. It was a very difficult class. It was a class that was comprised of most of the smartest kids in our class and me. That's 2 separate categories. I want you to know that, and my high school buddies can verify that was 2 separate categories. It was a class that Miss Kruger taught. And on one day, she must have seen the fear in my eyes, the fact that perhaps I wasn't capturing everything that was going on. I don't know if I was talking or being silly, but she looked at me and she called on me and she said, "Debo, if you went home today and told your mom that you were dropping out of school to become a plumber, what would she say?" And I said, "She probably wouldn't like that." And Mrs. Kruger paused, and she said, "Why not?" Now, at that point, I had never hired a plumber. I wasn't very clear on what a plumber does. I'd certainly never paid a plumber. And so I didn't realize that my answer was wrong, both for that reason and also because there's honor in every type of work. So I didn't have it quite right, but that's what I said at that time. And when she asked me, "Why not?" I said to her, as I squirmed in my chair, wondering how long this cross-examination was going to last, I said to her that I thought my mom might have higher aspirations for her son. Now, I said this of a woman who was an immigrant from Dublin, came here on a boat to work as a domestic worker for a wealthy family in Long Island, the eldest of 6 kids, but I thought that she might have higher aspirations for her little boy, and Ross will confirm I was a very little boy. In fact, he's wondering why it was they took away Chloe's step. That was here a moment ago, and I just wanted to beat him to that line because it's waiting for me when I get back to the table. Sorry about that, Ross. And so I offered that line. Fast forward, now I'm in law school, I'm back in the city I love, I'm in New York, I'm walking on 6th Avenue, I see there's an art store there, and in the art store is a print, and I look at it and it draws my attention. And you see the print above my shoulder. It's a print by Ernie Barnes. Ernie Barnes was a great artist. He was a football player, but he was known as an artist. My high school friends, and maybe 5 or 6 of you, certainly Ted Wells, know that he was responsible for a lot of the art in Good Times, that show in the 70s that 5 or 6 of us in here watched. And so Ernie Barnes painted this painting, and it's called High Aspirations. And I love this painting. It grabbed me. And so I decided to make an important investment, and I invested some of my law school loans to purchase the print. I'm not sure that that's consistent with how the federal government contemplated all of this would go, but it drew me in. It's called High Aspirations. It's a young African-American man striving to do something, reaching for something that he's on the precipice of doing, but it's as yet unobtained. And so it captured in a visual way striving for something, reaching for something, being out there by yourself, but working to make it happen. So I bought that piece of art. I hung it in my apartment. I hung it in my apartment at the time. It was over my desk for all of my years of law school, and it's in my apartment today. And it means something to me in the same way that the art of my fellow honorees, Bill T. Jones, and the wonderful, wonderful leader who has brought us Black Girls Rock, Beverly Bond, in the way that they have inspired so many with their activism in art. And this drew me in. And so I come back to Bro Sis, and yes, to the board member, Ross Jaime. I look at this, I think of this striving, I think of Bro Sis. And I remember that Ross was perhaps the most grudging friend one could ever have. He never said anything nice to anybody. His way of endearing himself to you was with criticism and critique. He would make fun of you. There were lots of height jokes. As I told you, they continue. But occasionally on a particular good day, he would look at you. He'd perhaps look down at your new sneakers, and he'd kind of whisper so nobody else could hear it, "Those are dope." Now, what that meant, that was a sign of approval from Ross. That meant to us that they were cool, that they were good. And I thought about this, and I thought about Ross, and I thought about Bro Sis, and I thought about dope. And I think that if you think about what Bro Sis brings together, it feeds and inspires dreams. It opens up new vistas of opportunity for young people. It clearly invests in people and teaches respect not only for the individual, but the value that comes from respecting others. And it thinks about education and making it available, not only for book learning, but for all of those things, all those soft skills that push you forward in life. And so for dreams, opportunity, people, and education, I raise a tribute to all that Bro Sis does, to my friend Ross Jaime and his 10 years of service, to the young leaders past and present. I thank you for allowing me to share this evening with you, but most importantly, I thank Bro Sis for the way it inspires so many futures and all the Chloes who will lead us tomorrow. Thanks very much.